we're going to start off. So, Celeste, please introduce yourself.
My name is Celeste Beatty. I'm the brewer and founder of Harlem Brewing Company and Harlem Brew South.
My name is Denise Ford Sourdogo, and I am the co owner and general manager of Montclair Brewery.
My name is Leo. I'm the brewer at Montclair Brewery.
My name is Chris Noble. I'm Gil Noble's son. Very happy to be here. And congratulations to both of you on starting your new businesses, your Black breweries. I think it's excellent and glad to be a part of the operation.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, I'm gonna introduce a project. So this is Montclair Brewery's third year in celebrating our third year in business and our third year celebrating Black History Month. So we're super excited for February. And each year we do a lot of research to come up with ideas as far as who we can honor or what we can honor. In the past, we've honored people like Larry Doby, Harriet Tubman. We've done others even outside of Black History Month, such as Al Anderson. And this year, we decided to honor Gil Noble. One of the things that we look for is someone who's made a big contribution to the wider community. And then the icing on the cake is if they happen to have some kind of connection to Montclair, that makes it even more wonderful, such as Gil Noble, who have raised his family in Montclair and lived here for many, many years. So that's the Black History Month series. We have some other beers coming this year as part of that series as well. But today we are talking about Gil Noble. And as I said, we're excited. And we're excited to partner with the Harlem Brewing Company. So Celeste, why don't you tell us about why you decided to collaborate with us on this project?
Well, I have to give kudos to Christine Melton. I think she was one of the people in Harlem that introduced us, to my recollection. And I was just really excited to learn about your brewery. I'm very familiar with Montclair, done some tastings there, and just was really excited to hear about your establishing the Montclair Brewery. And I'm really big on collaborations in general. So the idea of being able to work with you guys on this beer, celebrating such an iconic, such an amazing person that inspired me, because I really draw a lot from our history, as many people do, in terms of what guides me with what I do with my beers and my life. So just a really wonderful sort of connection between Gil Noble's birth, Gil Noble's connection to Harlem and
Born and raised.
Montclair. I'm sorry?
Born and raised. He
Yeah,
was
right.
born in Harlem, yes.
South Jamaica. I was like, wait a minute, was he born there? Yeah. So when you called me, Denise, both you and Leo, and you kind of described this sort of amazing, not really coincidence, but this connection between my years, 27 years in Harlem, my love for Harlem, my inspiration by its history from before the Renaissance to now, and Gil Noble's connection there, having met him, just during my lifetime and splitting my mind between two states, but in Harlem was just really a beautiful thing. And to learn that he had this long-standing connection in Montclair and Harlem. So I just thought that was really beautiful. And I'm just really honored. You just don't have an opportunity like this in the brewing industry where you can actually connect with the family, have them chime in, give their thoughts, and be a part of this type of experience. So I'm just really been talking to my mom about it here in North Carolina. She's very familiar with Gil Noble. She's 82. She's like, what you doing? I showed her the cans. She was looking at the cans. And it's just really exciting. It's just really an exciting, and it's one of those moments in this business where you look forward to this. They don't come along a lot. So I'm going to be quiet because I could go on and on, but I'm just really excited to be a part of it and happy that Chris is part of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And before we move over to Chris, just for some of those very few people who may not be familiar with Noble. So one of the reasons why we decided to honor Gil Noble and collaborate with Celeste, as you mentioned, Gil Noble was born and raised in Harlem, so that was that Harlem connection. And then afterwards, he moved to Montclair, raised his family there. But in addition to that, he was a renowned journalist, pianist, producer, professor, news anchor, and television host. He interviewed many distinguished people, such as Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali, Bob Marley. And he's an Emmy Award winner and has won hundreds, or earned, I should say, hundreds of community awards as well. And that's why we knew that he's someone with his renowned TV show, Like It Is on ABC, one of the longest running news programs on ABC. We knew that he definitely merited being honored. So Chris, with that, so we're going to turn it over to you to tell us a little bit, yes, about your dad, growing up with him, a little bit, yeah, about some of his interviews, his values that guided him, some of his guiding values.
Well, you know, my father was an incredible man, an incredible father, who I learned so much from, and I'm still learning from today as I go through life and, you know, navigate through life myself. My father got his job. He's an extremely talented man. He was a pianist. He had his own trio, the Gil Noble Trio. He was working at WLIB Radio in Harlem as a reporter, and he was working at a bank. So he had to provide for his family, and you know, was working very hard to do so. And it was out of the civil rights movement that a lot of the networks started to scramble to hire Black reporters. And my father got the opportunity and was hired at ABC, and was equipped and ready to go. But he never forgot why he was hired and the conditions that were going on at the time. And he dedicated his life to, you know, furthering a cause to fight for the liberation of our people. And through his work and the platform of Like It Is, he used that as a vehicle to bring us information and knowledge, which he knew was critical to all of us, because, you know, since we landed on these shores hundreds of years ago, we've been indoctrinated with misinformation over and over again, and it's happening presently. And so he knew that information, the truth, and knowledge was critical for us to be able to operate and navigate in this world. And so, you know, he told me many times, he said, Chris, misinformation is a weapon of mass destruction. And you can see the remnants of that today with all this stuff that's going on with, you know, these different media formats that are spewing out lies and all these different types of information that are affecting people. So he was dedicated to using his platform to inform, to tell the truth, and to give us all a wider scope of knowledge about our experience, our culture, and our history.
That is fantastic to hear that. I watched so many videos about your dad, including the funeral, and one of the gentlemen was talking that was saying that your dad wrote him a letter after many years, and that same gentleman was instrumental to hire your dad into becoming a journalist at WLIB. And
Bill McQuarrie?
Yes.
Yes.
He was.
Bill McQuarrie hired my father.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad wrote him a letter a couple of years later to thank him. So that kind of described the kind of man it is. And, you know, your dad wear so many different hats, and I understand that perfectly, you know, and also in his work as a journalist, the fight never stopped. And I believe that your dad carried that throughout his life and fought for so many people. I put him way up there with people like Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, and all these people that fought for, you know, for us to be able to stand today and be able to brew beer and allow people to enjoy it. I think your dad, you know, did so much that I couldn't think of anything else but, you know, brew something that he probably would be proud of. That's what we try to do. Yes.
I thank you, and I feel the same way. I always considered my father, in addition to being an excellent journalist, a freedom fighter.
Yes.
And, you know, he surrounded himself with like-minded people. It wasn't just him. You know, he developed himself through what was going on at the time. He was first affected by Martin Luther King. And then after studying Malcolm X, fell deeply in love with Malcolm and really dedicated a large part of his career to documenting Malcolm X's story and what he was trying to do. In addition to his association with people like Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. John Henrik Clarke, Dr. Ben, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, there's so many. The list is so many, so long, of prominent African Americans and Africans who had a major impact on my father. And my father was a voracious reader, a student of history, and was constantly studying and researching and using that and trying to give us that information that he was absorbing through his show. So, you know, like it is for a lot of people, was like church. You know, I run into people all the time that say that they had Like It Is viewing parties every Sunday. And, you know, some people didn't go to church because they didn't want to miss Like It Is, and other people would tape it. But he had a large following, and he had a major impact on millions of people. And so as a son, I'm just blown away by being his son and reflecting on all the experience that I had as a beneficiary of being a family member and being close to what was going on. So it was an incredible experience. He's an incredible man who led an incredible life and accomplished a tremendous amount of work. I mean, you know, after he died, I was going through his office and where he had stored a lot of his films and shows and documentaries. And it's just, it's incredible to look at the amount of work that he accomplished over that 45 years. I mean, all the TV shows, the documentaries, the programs, the speaking engagements, the book, the writings. I mean, it's just an incredible, massive work that he accumulated over his lifetime. So I'm tremendously honored that both your companies have collaborated to honor him, because he certainly deserves it.
Yeah, say that again.
Yeah, absolutely. If we don't do it, who will? So
Right.
we very, you know, that's what we should be doing. And that's why, you know, people like us should be honoring their own people, because no one else is going to do it.
Absolutely.
So we
Absolutely.
deeply, deeply honored to be able to make that beer and let
And
people.
listen, I'm sure that if he was alive today and Like It Is was on, he would have both of you, all three of you, on to talk about your businesses, because for him, owning owning your own business was extremely important. He used to tell me all the time, he used to say, Chris, you can't go anywhere in the world where Black people are in control of their own economy, where they live. So that was an extremely important component to the mission, to get us to be, self-sufficient and to be able to be in control of our communities and the economy in our communities. So what you're doing is follows that whole path, and so it's a beautiful thing. It's coming around full circle, and just the fact that one of you is in Harlem and one of you is in Montclair, that's like divine. That's like divine order. It's really something that
Absolutely.
you both know each other and that you collaborated, and then it fits my father's life,
Yeah.
and a lot of things coming together.
I wanted to thank you, Chris. I wanted to ask you, we were looking at all this technology, and I was spending a lot of time. I'm actually in North Carolina right now, going through hundreds of photographs of my family members. Everything's been digitized. It's like, what's going to happen with all these collections that we have? And you had mentioned that you obviously has a massive archive of your father's work. That important information that we were fortunate enough to learn about at the National Museum of African American History and Culture, stuff that was buried at the Smithsonian and other collections that we didn't have the ability or the chance to read, and therefore we lost that on the inspiration and knowledge about who we are. And you mentioned your father having amassed this archive, these interviews, the books that he wrote, the information out there. How are you working to make sure that's available for students and scholars in the future?
Well, the family is in the process of doing that as we speak. There's a few hurdles that we're working over right now, but we'll be making announcements in the near future. And we plan to, showcase his archives and make it available to the world. So that's definitely on the agenda. It's a long process to get to a point where we can make it available. It has to be digitized and cataloged. All the legal ramifications have to be dealt with, and so it's a process. It's also an expensive process. So we're going through all the different hurdles, and we hope to be able to be in a position to make an announcement to the public, in the near future. But that's definitely, it's our job as a family. It's our job to make sure that his work is always available.
Great.
One of my father's dreams and wishes was to have his work available in the school system, in the education system. So, we're going to be working on that, and a number of other things. So stay tuned.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And when that happens, we will have even a lot more to drink on when that happens. Yes. And so talking about drinks, so we're gonna have Leo, our head brewer. He's gonna talk about the Noble Like It Is beer.
Well, it was first when we made the plan to brew that beer, we was kind of, hesitating, trying to find out what kind of beer would be suitable for that. And we went back to Jamaica to see what type of beer, a Jamaican would love to drink. I've been to Jamaica a few times. It's my second home. Yes. And I realized that people are on the darker side when it comes to enjoying a beer. So we decided to make a porter, which is an easily drinkable beer. And we throw in some pimento seed, which every Jamaican will tell you it's one of some of the best spices. That's what we did. So the result is fantastic. I can't wait for Celeste to try it. And yeah. So that's what we did.
Oh, that's excellent. Because probably the only time I drink beer is when I go to Jamaica, which is
yes.
I look forward to tasting it.
But I like Red Stripe, and so my father was not a beer drinker. He didn't really drink much alcohol at all.
Right.
but I do drink beer on occasion. But just the fact of honoring him for Black History Month on your beer, on the beer can,
Absolutely.
and you know, on tap as well is really a great honor, and I really thank you for that. My family thanks you for that as well.
Anytime.
Absolutely. And just for those wondering about why we went back to Jamaica, I don't know if we mentioned earlier, since Gil Noble is born from Jamaican parents and was very connected to his roots as well. That was why. So we have the Jamaican connection involved. We've got the Harlem connection and we've got the Montclair
Yeah,
connection. So we
yeah,
wanted to bring it totally full circle with the beer too.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And then as far as the porter, we're calling it a Jamaican style porter because after Red Stripe, the porter in Jamaica or the stout is the second top selling or most popular beer in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So we need to do something with
And this will be it. This will be the second one in Jamaica after you release it, right? Or maybe the
Yes.
first.
right, right.
It'll be after
Yeah.
it's released. If I can get it, it'll be the only one. You know, I have to be able to, will it be available in Jamaica?
No, not right now. No. Unless we bring some in our suitcase the next time we go to travel. But
Well, you might want to think of that because, you know, he's Jamaican, so there might be a tie in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, no, you're yeah.
I know a young lady that's working on opening up a brewery that would probably love to talk to you guys. But of course, things have kind of slowed down with the pandemic, but that may be a way. Yeah.
Right, that is true. I think I met the person at the
Cool.
Brewers Association. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, so Chris, just to wrap up, I mean, you spoke about it a little bit already, but just if there's any closing comments you wanted to make. You mentioned like what you think this project would mean to your father. Just a quick summary. Yeah, would be great.
No, I'm you know, in general, I'm just very honored that you chose my father to honor for Black History Month. And you know, and it's just a tremendous honor, and I thank both of you, and I wish both of you the best of luck in your businesses. And you know, anything that I could do to help, you know, I'm always available. I think we all have to network and communicate and help each other and pull each other along. And you know, that's what my father was about. He was about community, about our family, about working together as a family, about helping each other. It's about when you get a step up, you reach back and you pull someone else up with you. You don't just stay up there by yourself.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, you know, we're only powerful if we have numbers, large numbers. You know, when you're just out there by yourself, you're very vulnerable to a system that doesn't really want to compete with you. So, you know, when we support ourselves, we make each other stronger. And when you support one of your family members, they'll come back and support you. So it's a very important process. And, you know, one of the things that he always taught me is number one, to love my Africanness. That's the foundation of who I am as a man, my African bloodline. And we're all a family. He taught me to look at all of us as a family. He taught me the greatness that all of us possess, and we all have. All of us have talents and possess greatness. A lot of us aren't able to tap into it because a lot of different reasons, the circumstances, the system we live under. But we come from great people who accomplished a lot. And, you know, one of the things that I got a chance to see through his work was all the beauty that we create. all over the world. We're extremely talented people that create beauty, art, and intellectual, accomplishments all over the world. And you don't really get that sort of information in your education system. So, I knew that I was very fortunate because the information that I got, I was getting two educations. I was getting one in school, which was limited as far as teaching me about myself as a Black man. The most valuable information I got was what I learned at home from my father, what my father taught me. And it's extremely important that we pass on information, that we share information, that we help each other grow and expand, but always keeping the mindset of family. We're all one family. And so, what you're doing is very important. It's one step in the right direction, and all of us need to take that step in any way that we can. So, I congratulate you. I applaud you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to close out, yeah, so we're just going to talk about the beer will be available on draft this week in the tap room. And the middle of February, it will be available in cans. It will be have limited distribution in the New Jersey area, potentially in New York as well. And I know Celeste has some plans for Harlem Brewery South, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
I don't even have words for how significant this honor is, both to collaborate with both of you at the Montclair Brewery and to be honoring Gil Noble. I mean, that's just, it's just amazing. It really is.
Thank you
What
so
I'm
much.
looking forward to,
Tearing up right now because it just, especially in this time with all the misinformation, as you said, and the crazy politics and just the madness that's going on, knowing that he had a platform to make sure that we knew who we were, and knowing who we are now, the complete diaspora is more critical now than it ever was. And he was doing that, well ahead of all of this. And we've got to keep doing that, and working with you guys at Montclair and being able to be a part of what you've created, what we've created together. I'm just really floored and honored to be a part of it.
I'm looking forward to see people picking up the can in store and asking a few questions, and hopefully they'll go back and learn, about Gil Noble. That's what I'm hoping for.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a
So we
wonderful
will
thing.
have a QR code on the can, the very first time we've ever done that, where people could scan on their phone, and it will take them to a web page on our website that will have more information about Gil Noble, the beer, as well as some of our other Black History Month beers.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.